Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, I'm going to do this one with the quickness because, damn it, the Australian Open is going on and we're getting close to the semifinals and it's on. You know, all this boxing and it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of shenanigans going on every time you're talking about boxing, isn't it? Right? Most of the damn time. Right? So listen, let's be honest. Right? We're going to talk about Tyson Fury, right? The WBC champion versus Anthony Joshua for undisputed. Anthony Joshua got all the other belts, whatever, the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO championship, right? So they supposed to be fighting for undisputed, right? And we keep getting announcements, you know, all the time. Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Anthony Joshua, announced stuff so much that the promoter for Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, is complaining, man, this dude just don't know how to keep his mouth shut, right? Because they say it's a handful of issues that are still, you know, to solve. But it's only a handful, which means it's not that many, you know. And we know of some of the issues, you know, that they've been talking about. Well, you know, who's going to come out first, who's going to be on the left side of the poster, stuff like that, because they're both champions, and those things can happen. But that ain't the only the issues. The issues is very simple, because if you say a handful of issues, you can just say, well, hey, we got 3 fingers for the issues, because one issue is the one that's stopping the damn fight. You know, according to Sky Sports, right? That's a, you know, English thing, isn't it? The Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury arbitrations are in the preliminary stages. Preliminary stages. At the beginning, people. So, you know, all this stuff we talking about that fight, we can be talking about it, but it's going to have to be a whole lot of stuff taken care of before we can talk about an Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury fight, right? Everybody can say this and do this and whatever. But have you noticed, seeing as though with the arbitration are in preliminary stages, that no one involved is just saying this? No one. Media is not really involved, but they're not saying anything. The fans, not involved, but they're not saying anything. Tyson Fury's side, which means Frank Warren or Bob Arum or Tyson Fury himself. Anthony Joshua's side with Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua. No one said, hey, Fury, man, why go through arbitration and all this stuff? Go ahead and beat him up. We can fight. I'll go ahead and take care of Usyk real quick. You beat him up, right? Why didn't the media, any media, stateside media, on the pond, across the pond, the island, their media, anybody saying, Tyson Fury, forget all this arbitration. We got to worry about the Deontay Wilder. Don't you got a contract anyway? You have a contract to fight Deontay Wilder. Stop all the shenanigans. Just fight him and get him out the damn way. Right? No one is saying that. No one. Nowhere. You have to go to the internet to find someone who is saying that. Hey, Tyson Fury, you got a contract, man. Just fight the man. That fight with Joshua is still huge. Matter of fact, you beat Deontay Wilder and get him out the way once for all. It's even bigger than that. Anthony Joshua takes care of Alexander Usyk, right? And, you know, then he ain't got no more mandatories for a long time. And the fight is real. We don't have to really be going through court and worried about what arbitration is going to say, right? But we're doing that, right? Matter of fact, Tyson Fury did the same behavior after the first fight because he knew he really lost that fight. I was talking about that in another video, right? So he went and fought 2 other people, didn't do what was in the contract. No one is on the side of the person who has a contract and is doing what's in the contract, not breaching the contract. That's because no one really wants to see the damn fight, right? No one wants to see the damn fight. Let's be honest. Wilder versus Fury 3 is a bigger fight than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. It is. It's a bigger fight because, first of all, you're going to have huge pay-per-view, and American pay-per-view, $75 or $100 and up. It's going to be huge, and they have a history now. Everybody, whether they're acknowledging what they know or not, knows about them damn gloves for the second fight. Everybody knows, whether they're saying it or not, about the transgressions of Tyson Fury. From being doped, from lying about not being doped, where he got the doping, from dealing with MTK Global and the mob boss, all of those things, right? All of those things. Those are huge stories just being ignored. But people know about it. And then you would have Deontay Wilder's return because he's been gone, he hadn't been fighting, he hadn't been talking to the media. You would have all those elements. That's a huge fight worldwide. Now, the Tyson Fury And Joshua fight is huge in England. But see, they can't fight in England, right? We also, for pandemic is one thing, but another thing is, hey, Tyson Fury doesn't have a license to fight in England. Why would that be? Yeah, because of the doping issues, right? That's why he doesn't have a license. That's why he went to America in the first place. So you got to remember that. He doesn't have a license, so that's not. They don't really want to really fight in England. They could say, "Hey, we wish we could," but if you really fought in England, the pandemic all of a sudden just went away, and they can go to Wembley and fight and all that. The issue of why Tyson Fury ain't got no license, it would come up again. You would have to readdress that, right? And as far as Tyson Fury and the Wilder fighting for the third fight, the reason why nobody's saying that, right, is because simple fact. For the media in America, it would be very uncomfortable to have to deal with the lead up of this and all these things are coming out, and through the whole thing, you didn't cover any of it. You didn't cover the gloves, and this is still alleged, but it's still a huge story. You didn't cover the gloves. You didn't cover the Martin Carefoot, the Nandrolone thing, the farmer who said that Tyson Fury was lying about that. You didn't carry that. You didn't carry about a mob boss of MTK Global, and it's real huge in England. It's huge in England to the point where even Eddie Hearn said, man, that's going to mess up boxing if they don't do something about it. Everybody's talking about that, right? Won't cover it, right? And then you would have to deal with the fact that Deontay Wilder, during that old lead-up, probably won't be talking to you. You're going to have to invite those people. You remember those random channels and them random news outlets and stuff that you call random, but they're not, right? Like 78 and all them. Yeah, that's who we'll have to invite to get an interview from Deontay Wilder leading up to the fight. That's a very uncomfortable situation, right? That's a very uncomfortable situation. The media don't want to see stuff. You know, they didn't want to see Andre and Canelo because it could possibly, Andre could win and be undisputed. We don't want that. We don't want to see Lopez and Haney, right? Because Haney could mess around and become undisputed at a young age. We don't want that. We definitely don't want to see Deontay Wilder clean out the damn division. We don't want that, so we're going to do what it takes, right? There's no disgust from all this cheating that's going on and all this stuff that's going on. But at the end of the day is, if we can keep talking about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury and the handful of problems that are still there. One of them is Deontay Wilder and that arbitration. If they're talking about preliminary stages, right, then that can go on for ages. Then what you would want to do is you would want to, if you're a fighter or a fan of a fighter or something, then you would like to get your focus on, hey then, if we're having problems having Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua because of all of the stipulations and we're trying to get out of a contract that we've had, why doesn't everybody's focus go to this? Simple. Damn it, Tyson Fury and Joshua, I'm going to go fight Usyk, right? And Tyson Fury, you going to go fight Deontay damn Wilder, right? After that, we got our fight because we're going to both win and we got our fight. Everybody should be like, Tyson Fury, forget all this preliminary. Just fight Deontay Wilder for the third time. It was in your contract, right? And here's another little thing that could possibly happen that we don't hold Joshua to. For example, Anthony Joshua. And Joshua could be like this. Fury, we'll wait till we can fight in England, right? We'll wait till we fight in England. In the meantime, try to get your damn license. Seeing as though you don't got a license, I still got some issues with Deontay Wilder. I'll go knock Deontay Wilder out, right? I'll go knock Deontay Wilder out, right? Let's see if Anthony Joshua fans even want him to do that. While in the meantime, while you got all this arbitration with Deontay Wilder, I'm sick of it. I'll go knock Deontay Wilder out in what will still be an undisputed fight because he's going to probably get the title from you anyway. That hasn't come up either, right? It could. Seeing as though we still believe that Anthony Joshua didn't never want to fight Deontay Wilder, he could wipe that away right now. Seeing as though I can't get the Tyson Fury fight right now because he's got arbitration with Deontay Wilder, I'm sick of all that. Deontay Wilder, you ready to fight? And let's do that. That doesn't come up either. Everything comes up except for the fact that ain't nobody trying to fight Deontay Wilder, right? Even though he has a contract. So let's see what happens going forward. I thought that's important that everybody notes there's a handful of things that's still in the way of the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight, and the arbitration is in preliminary stages. That doesn't sound too good now, doesn't it? Domo Sports Talk Worldwide, and I'm up out of here, y'all.